To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. Jay here, positivesarcasm.com, recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio, recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio by New Hampshire's beautiful seacoast. Like, subscribe, share, donate, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amounts appreciated. Check out all the links, the affiliates down below. There's the Weeble app, the Moo app, the eToro app. There's links to Jordan B. Peterson's podcast, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, Mel Robbins' podcast. There's wellness links, of course, all kinds of stuff down below. Strongly recommend all these things. Go ahead, get after it. Questions, concerns, comments, hit me up on my website in the contact section of positivesarcasm.com. Posing music, if you're a fitness competitor, go ahead, email me directly, positivesarcasm@outlook.com. You can always Instagram me, of course, slide into those DMs. Requests only. At @positive_sarcasm. You can go ahead and hit me up there. Go ahead and comment when you can. If you have any concerns, any things you want to add, if you want to submit your own Q&As, you're more than welcome to. Sorry, I'm a little off. I guess I'll start with this before we get to this week's Q&A, which is going to be courtesy of Reddit this time, AITA. This is obviously a wellness podcast. Sometimes we talk financial, sometimes we talk mental, and then, of course, talking physical. This week, we're going to talk nutritional. Had a little dinner out Tuesday night. Went to a little Mexican place on the Central Street in Dover. It's a town right next to me that, quite frankly, I'd rather never live in or do much more of anything in to begin with. It's just not my type of town. For me, Dover is a place for folks who can't afford to live in Portsmouth. So we went there, had a little dinner. By 2 a.m., I was gone. I was gone. This was by far the worst food poisoning I've ever had. Without a doubt. This was I'd like to think, besides the flu of 2013 that I had, which had me bedridden, which basically just took all the energy out of me and sweated through me for I'd say a solid week. This is the worst I've ever been, because this was the sheer pain of what felt like shattered glass piercing through my stomach. The bloat that came 2 days after, of just not being able to eat or not being able to sleep, which obviously means that I can't do anything the next day. It was so sharp, so intense, so debilitating. The worst. First off, 2 a.m., I didn't feel great at before I went to sleep that night, but okay, that's how it is. You take your supplements and then you go to sleep. Nope. By 2 a.m., just vomiting. 1 hour later, up again. Hour later, up again. By 10 a.m., I was toast. Completely dehydrated, no energy in my legs, couldn't go anywhere. By 5 a.m., I knew I wasn't going anywhere that day, though. By 5 a.m., I knew. I went to grab my keys. I said, I'm going to accomplish something today. I went to grab my keys, put on my shoes, and before I could even get to the door, I kind of just tumbled into my chair, and I was done. And then I somehow managed to crawl my way up into the bed. I had some Gatorade and some extra water, and I just kept drinking water, so that it was stated that if I had water, just keep drinking water, throwing something up so you're not dry heaving. But man, the absolute worst. I talked to a person. I had a phone call the next day with somebody over at Wentworth Douglas. Not like an appointment or something. Just I know people who work there. I have clients over there, and they said, "Oh, you went there?" It's like, okay, forget the reviews that you read online. And yeah, the food, they're just go in their kitchen. So it was bad. So what did I eat? First of all, I had some type of Mexican street corn. I didn't even eat my actual meal per se. I was too full. I had salsa, chips, had some of that Mexican street corn. I had the beans, the rice, the guac, the usual side type stuff. So the actual sizzling fajita, I never really got a chance to dive into at all. But I don't think it was a sizzling fajita. It was obviously something in that Mexican street corn or in the salsa or in the chips, for sure. And my weight's been steadily coming down, so I figured, right, I'm gonna have a little dinner night out and stuff like that. But oh boy, it was definitely something in that just completely destroyed me. So my diet until about 10 a.m. consisted of about water. I couldn't eat anything. So we went to the usual. I went for like Diet Coke, Gator Light Zero, and saltines. I tried to drink as much water as I possibly could. Obviously, there wasn't much success to that, but I tried because I knew I just had to do something. Coffee was out of the question. And I slept for the entire day. The entire day. There was nothing I could do. I'm twisting and turning and I'm flipping over and I was done. Absolutely toast. Like, I don't like the feeling of being completely useless. Like, I want to be able to offer some value. Like, if you need me to walk down to the grocery store and get something for you or take you to, at least drive you to work or, I don't know, cook you soup or, I don't do anything, make you coffee. At least provide something. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do a damn thing. After 5 a.m., I didn't even bother looking at my phone. Didn't bother looking at my phone. And I slept for the entire day. I don't remember the night, per se. I don't remember eating. But the next morning, I managed to get up, have a day. The next day, I was productive. I did what I could. I knew that I wasn't feeling right. I knew that my energy levels were off. I knew that I was weak. The day after, though, was rough because I couldn't sleep because my stomach, after so much pain, all of my gut biome being completely destroyed by toxic microbes, couldn't take any of my supplements. The next morning I was almost borderline useless, but because I couldn't, there was nothing, my stomach just felt completely stuffed. It was like the body was battling to hold in what water it had available to it. So that day was completely exhausting. And then I just disappeared for the weekend. Didn't do a damn thing. Just disappeared, off grid, trying my best to recover, was weak pretty much all weekend. Didn't want to walk anywhere, didn't want to drive anywhere. Just hid for the most part. It was rough. I'm not going to lie. It was rough. And I've been doing very well. My energy levels have been up. They're very much down right now. My weight, my strength was all there. It's hit and miss right now. Where my body's just like it. I still have minor stomach pains. And I'm still very cautious about what I'm eating. I haven't touched any spices other than bouillon. Other than condensed broth. Coffee, this is my first day of actually having a cup. No, actually, yeah, I had a cup this morning with coconut oil, and then I had a small cup this afternoon, which was fine because the acidity actually helped. So, actual true food poisoning, no joke. And I never joked about it being a joke. I never not took it seriously. But to have it, wow, absolutely crushing. It sucks when it takes everything out of you. It makes you completely useless. There's no comfortable sleeping positions. There's no way of really bouncing back once your energy is sucked out of you because it takes all your electrolytes out of you, completely destroys your gut biome. It's almost like you have to start again. Your body's completely atrophied from all that work it was doing trying to get all this toxins out of your system. Fasting is something you don't want to do, but you have to do. So, it's bad. Absolutely bad. So I went online, looked at Dr. Eric Berg. Pickled vegetables, not a bad way to go. That actually helps with fighting back, killing off some of the microbes in your stomach, reestablishing good gut biome. Fried foods, terrible idea. Dairy, terrible idea. And anything heavy is a bad idea. Soup is an easy go-to. Making your own soup with a nice light broth, maybe a little bit of rice. Obviously, a lean protein like a chicken or maybe a fish, although I would be a little cautious with the fish, but a very lean protein. And I would say so lean, like for the most part, like a deli cut of turkey diced up and thrown in there. Everything easily digestible, light bites, easy bites, nothing your body has to truly break down. Was a great plan, was easily doable. And I think right now we're on the recovery path. It just sucks because I missed 1, 2, 3 solid days of fitness training. And that to me, that sucks the most. That is one of those things I really like, bothers me. Really does. It's like missing training because I had a bad plate of food where I could have just stayed at my place and made something. Instead, I spent more than God's treasure on like Gatorade and Pedialyte and Liquid Deaths and seltzers and just everything to help the body recover. And still recovering. And now I'm staring down the barrel of next week where I want to run another. It's Monday. I run 3 miles every Monday. And I'm like, all right, are my legs gonna be under me? Am I gonna be able to pull that off? What's the weather gonna be like? If the weather's raining, I'm obviously not gonna do that. I don't want to get cold again. I don't know what my immune system's like. I don't want to get sick. I don't want anything that's gonna compromise my body. Now there's gonna be, I want to get back into strength training again. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I want to have my energy back. The question is, am I going to be able to pull this off? These are major concerns of mine. So soup was definitely helpful. Seltzer, lots of water was no problem. Pickles actually not bad. Pickles not bad at all. The soup, a little bit of rice, a little bit of chicken, very light vegetables like very small carrots, very small peas. The spices in there was no spice. It was just broth. It was just those little bouillon cubes that go in there that permeate a little bit of olive oil to coat the top of the mixture. And that was pretty much, I think that was it. That was it. Just a basic soup. A basic soup that was soft in the stomach, easy to digest. And that was how I managed to at least survive the weekend. Tea wasn't bad. Anything that was acidic that caused the body, that did help. But for the most part, sometimes just not eating at all. So this morning, I really got after it hard with liquids. I started off the morning with a solid cup of coffee. After that, I started with a full serving of Liquid Death. So I drank that whole can of mineral water. All right. After that, I drank a full Gatorade. Drank that whole freaking Gatorade down. And then, sugar-free, obviously. And then I drank one more liquid after that. And then I drank a full serving of coconut water. So it's just one round after, and this is before I ate anything. So I had coffee, seltzer water, coffee, Liquid Death, Gatorade, coconut oil, or coconut water. Back to back to back to back to back to back. Just pee. I wanted to pee out every toxic microbe I could possibly have left in my system. Getting rid of these painful shards of glass like pains in my body. Out. Gone. Be done with it. So I could focus on getting the electrolytes back in my system, getting the strength back in my legs, getting the energy back in my body so I can actually be functional for the rest of the friggin' week. And it sucks. All over a goddamn plate of Mexican food. I got to be honest with you. When it comes to like ethnic foods or Americanized foods, Mexican food doesn't hold a candle to Chinese food. It doesn't. That battle royale, Mexican food does not hold a prayer. All right. Don't get me wrong. I love me a good chimichanga, but you can keep your cilantro because Americanized Szechuan is for the W. Chinese food has never betrayed me. It has never made me sick. It's never gave me stomach pains. It's never given me diarrhea. It's never made me vomit. It's never made me do anything other than be happy. That the God's honest truth. I've never been sick off of Chinese food. Never. And yet, those are the kitchens that apparently fail the most when it comes to health inspections. It might be because they cook at such high temperatures that nothing survives once it hits the plate. Everything is just burned and incinerated. Whereas in Mexican food, the sauces are super heavy. Everything is can be cooked at a lower temperature. There's refried this and refried that. Supposedly fresh vegetables. Different mathematics. And sometimes the math does not work out in your favor. So right now we're closing up the weekend. I got some jasmine tea over here. I got some Propel water on my left, which I'm definitely going to get a swig of before we start AITA. And then I'm going to take a nice hot shower. I'm going to pull whatever I have out of the oven, and I'm just going to slide into the covers. I'm just going to call it good. And then we'll see how much energy I have to start this week off right. But my God, a little Mexican food in Dover was a terrible idea. A terrible idea. Whew, so. If you want to let me know which Mexican restaurant it was, go ahead and send me a comment or send me a direct message on Instagram at @positive_sarcasm. I'll happily tell you the place so you know to avoid it. Whew. But chatted with the people at Wentworth Douglas. They said, you're fine. Just pound a ton of water. You'll eventually get through it. But it's definitely not a pleasant experience. That being said, I hope you guys are looking forward to another great week. Had a really great conversation about opportunity, about people bitching about, things are so expensive, home affordability, finding apartments. And I get it. It's tough, but you're only looking for one car. You only need really one car. You only need one place to live. If you are aiming for something, if you truly want it, you can get it. I don't know. That was just a quick side piece. That was kind of unscripted, that part. But I want to make mention of it because that was a conversation I just had with somebody, and I actually am more hopeful than people would be led to believe. I actually am quite optimistic about the things I'm capable of accomplishing, not only this year but next year and the year after that. So I look forward to 3 really great years coming up of things I'm going to be able to accomplish. And not by giving up anything. Thank God for electrolytes. Actually, I like this Propel. This Propel Zero, it comes in a packet form. I showed it to you, but I don't have the packet in front of me. But the Propel, so you get it, I think it's like $4. It comes in a box of 10. And it's Propel. It's like raspberry grape or something. Orange raspberry, I think it is. The actual color is clear because Propel is clear, and the taste is very, very good. Like, I like this taste. It doesn't have the same nutrition mineral content as as a Gatorlyte Zero, but it definitely tastes better. And I might rock this a little more going forward. Anyways, let me take another hard swig of that, and then we're gonna get to this week's AITH, and then we'll close up shop. Excuse me. I got a blog I gotta finish proofreading and find a cover for, and then I gotta get that guys to you publicly. When that's up, obviously I'll post it and I'll let you know on my Instagram at @positive_sarcasm. Anyways, I got one. Let's get started. And here we go. I have a disability which makes me unable to work or study. I could hardly graduate high school, and college wasn't even an option, and I just couldn't have a job. This sounds like me. I barely graduated high school, and college wasn't even an option, and I just couldn't have a job. Well, college I shouldn't have went to and begin with. Anyways, lucky for me, I was born in a very wealthy family, and I have a supportive dad. All right, well, at least you owned it. He gave me a simple job at one of his businesses, and he pays me $40K, which is, I believe, to be very generous because I basically do nothing. Well, once again, at least he's honest. When I was 20, I got a girl pregnant. Aw, Jesus. It was an accident. Well, you accomplished that, so clearly you can do something. My dad was, again, very supportive. After my daughter was born, my dad allowed me to move out and live at one of his other houses. He hired a nanny and maids to help me care for my daughter. He also paid for every expense related to my daughter. He never actually gave me money for this, but whenever my daughter needs anything, I call my dad and he will provide it. This has continued until today, that my daughter is 16. My dad spoils her with everything she wants and needs. I have never spent a penny on her because my dad takes care of everything. Okay. Oh, let me get this up on the main screen. I'm sorry. There you go. For the folks watching. Anyways, a few years ago, I met the love of my life. She has 2 kids, 16 and 13, from a previous relationship. We got married a few months ago, and they moved in with us. All right, then. The problem is that my kid and hers have very different lifestyles because my dad pays for my daughter's luxury lifestyle, while I can't afford the same for my step-kids. A few weeks ago, my wife decided to confront my dad about the favoritism and how differently he treats the kids, and asked him to start treating them all equally. My dad got really angry and started yelling at her, saying things like, "How dare you say that when you are living rent-free at my house and driving my car and I support one of your kids, and now you expect me to pay for your other kids?" I apologized to my dad and told him that I appreciate everything he has done for me and my daughter, and I don't expect anything else from him. When we left, my wife started crying and said I should have backed her up because this is so unfair to her kids. She called me an asshole. All right. Let me start with setting proper parameters and proper parenting. Let me go up here to the top. My daughter needs anything, I call my dad and he will provide it. Okay. So if your daughter ever needs anything, she asks you for it, and then your dad provides it. So you did not set the proper parameters with your daughter about not just because you want something doesn't mean you get it. She wanted something, you went to your dad, and he gave it to her. So she assumes anything that she wants, she just says you want it and gets it. That's what you're stating here. You wrote this, okay? You said you're not capable of holding a job, but you are capable of writing this Q&A out. So, all right then. I have to assume that what you wrote is accurate. So, you didn't. One thing you apparently don't know how to do also is say no to your kid. So this is on you right now. Your dad spoils her with everything that she wants and needs because you allow for it. All right? Your dad doesn't spoil her. He spoils her by proxy. You're the one directly spoiling her with your dad's money. So this woman that you met a few years ago, the love of your life, apparently had another love of her life prior. 2 kids, 16 and 13, from a previous relationship. Yeah, no shit. We got married a few months. They moved in. Okay. The problem is, yeah, all right. A few weeks ago, your wife confronted your dad about the favoritism and how differently he treats kids. First of all, why didn't she confront you? First off, why did she confront you about your daughter? Why did she go to your dad? If she has a problem with how her kids are treated as opposed to how your daughter is treated, why doesn't she confront you? Okay? That's the key. And where's the mom in all this? You got a girl pregnant. Where is she in all this? That's completely been... There's nothing in here about that. Nothing. All right. And then your dad got really angry and started yelling at her, saying, "How dare you say when you..." Okay. You're living rent-free. So your wife is living rent-free in your dad's house. Okay. And driving his car? So you're living rent-free. All right. Rent by the seacoast is between $1,500 and $2,500 a month. All right. That's just a random ballpark. So between $1,500 and $2,500 a month to live around here in the seacoast. I pay less than that because, I'm smart. And driving a car that you don't pay for. All right. And you expect him to not only on top of the free housing and the free car, but also pay for your kids? No. Now, I understand the whole aspect of standing up for your wife. Your wife went about it the wrong way. As did you. You went about it the wrong way. You can talk to your dad, but at the same time, your dad has validity in what he did. Because he just got yelled at for everything that he did. And he didn't necessarily do anything wrong. And you understand, by confronting him and yelling at him, he can simply say, you know what? Pack your things and get out of my house and give me the keys to my car. And he could do that. And if you say no, all he has to do is pick up the phone, one phone call, the police show up, take the keys, and kick you out of the house. And it can happen that quickly. Now, I know there's things like squatters' rights and all that stuff, but he can take the keys away. You can squat in the house. I don't think you can squat in the car. That's technically a stolen vehicle at that point if you don't return the keys. So, I don't think, you're not an asshole for backing up your wife. You're an asshole for not saying no to your kid and not talking to your wife and setting the parameters. Look, this is the lifestyle that my daughter's been blah, blah, blah. So this is something you may encounter or be challenged with your kid. First off, she doesn't have to worry about paying for the car or paying for the house. So she's got plenty of money to at least provide some type of luxury for her kids. Not that it should even go that far. But the idea that she has the gall to go after your dad instead of confronting you about all this. But first of all, I'm seeing her as spoiled. I definitely see her as spoiled. I see you as clueless, and the little girl is spoiled. But the little girl doesn't know any better. That's how she was raised. She went to you, and you allowed that request to go directly to your dad, completely fulfilled. You could have nipped this in the bud 16 years ago, and you didn't do it. So this is on you. Other people at fault are your wife. So, and your dad could absolutely cut the cord on all of this. He has a right to be upset. Maybe he did overreact. I don't know, but I'd say that his feelings have strong validity, and your wife should really think clearly about a rent-free house. Let's just say the rent is like, I don't know, a rent-free house. Oh, that's easy. $2,500. $2,500 for sure. $2,500, and her half would be $1,250. That's $1,250 a month that can go straight into not daycare, obviously, because the kids are 16 and 13. So it can go into education, entertainment, bicycles, field trips, better food, presents, all that stuff. It could go into anything. Instead, she prefers to bitch at your dad. And not even bitch at you first. That's rough. I kind of feel bad for first of all, your dad also set the standard a long time ago by saying, well, son, you're stupid. You can't do anything of value. Why don't you live in this house? Because you're an idiot. So that obviously was not a good plan. Obviously not a good plan because you were led to believe that you can't do anything. You can't do anything. That might be your dad's fault. It's your dad's fault maybe for how you were raised. It's your fault for how your daughter was raised. Okay, that's your fault. And your wife, it's her fault that she got yelled at. A lot of people at fault here. This is not a good situation. And the kids obviously are going to suffer at this point. Sad. Do we have time for one more? I think, actually, what we should do, so I didn't get to finish all of last week's from dig.com Q&A. I want to see if this thing's actually going to work or, there we go. So we did the legal boss one. We did the pay back the $3,000. We did that one. 8 years of estrangement. That we definitely did that one. Okay. Ever since my wife was a girl, she was close to her stepfather. a lovely man who has now passed away. She says that he was her one and only father, and she had no interest in knowing who her biological father was. Recently, though, she hinted at me that she would like to know her biological father's identity. But time is running out. We are in our 60s and mother's approaching 90. Her mother is a forceful woman, and she has always been frank about that her intention to become a single mother. She never mentioned her biological father's name, not because it was a badge of honor for my wife to proclaim that she had only one dad. I intend to ask my mother-in-law who the man was, but I worry about upsetting the family narrative. What are your thoughts? Always clear with the people whose lives it's going to affect. When you're talking about finding out who the biological father is, biological parents, permission. But look, this one's pretty straightforward. The people's whose lives it's going to affect are the ones you need to consult with first. Okay? If a child doesn't want to know who her biological parents are, then you don't push them to know. If the biological parent wants to meet the child, but the child does not want to meet them, the child wins out. Okay? That's just the truth of it. If the child should know, if the child wants to know. All right? Often more times than not, I believe, according to studies, that the value of knowing who your parents are, they're actually, is that a study? I don't remember. Whatever. We'll move past that. At the end of the day, like your wife was a girl. She was close to her stepfather, a lovely man who has now passed away. She always believes she was the only one and only father, and had no interest in knowing who her biological father was. Then she hinted at you that she'd like to know her biological father's identity. We were in her 60s. She's always been frank that her intention was to become a single mother. She never mentioned the biological father's name. Okay, look, if she's hinting that she wants to know, tell her that she can find out. Okay? If she doesn't want to know, hinted. Okay. Why don't you straight up ask her, hey, time's running out. Do you want to know who your biological dad is? Do you want to spend any time with him before he passes away? Do you want to know who he is? Period, point blank. Because if you don't, then hey, that's the end of it. We won't talk about it again. I won't push you on it. I won't make arrangements. Okay? If you want to know, great. If you don't, move the fuck on and be thankful that you knew who your stepfather was and that he was a lovely man and that he was a good father. And give him all the credit in the world for who he was as a man, as a father, as a human, for how you turned out. And be thankful to him and him alone. And that, boom, blanket statement. Nailed it. Good soup. All right, we're done here. Do you have questions, concerns, comments? Go ahead and hit me on my website, positivesarcasm.com. You can email me directly, positivesarcasm@outlook.com. Check out all my affiliate links in the description down below. They're down here. No, not where my jeans are. These aren't jeans. These are actually chinos. Banana Republic. Boom. But go ahead, check out my website. Check out my Instagram at @positive_sarcasm. You can request, do a friend request there. You're more than welcome to. I'll probably say okay, unless you look like a fucking psycho. And yeah, check out all the affiliate links in the description down below. Go ahead, get yourself some free stocks or 5.1% interest through Moomoo, and I think it's 5.1% interest through Webull. So for savings account, you don't even have to buy any stock. Just put money in the thing and it gives you money back every day. Look, pennies, raining pennies. Go ahead and check that out. Hi, Chase. I can see him right above my laptop screen. Anyways, we're done here. Thank you for listening, watching, subscribing. YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Apple Podcasts, Substack. Thank you for listening, watching, subscribing, and I'll talk to y'all next week. Recorded here for the Spare Parts Studio for entertainment purposes only. This has been a Positive Sarcasm presentation. Boy.